Yeah, Rodney. So I know you went back to Penn State last weekend to the whiteout. So just talk about that experience and how that was.
Man, it was a great experience. Just glad to be back, especially for a whiteout. Remember, we had the first whiteout back in, I want to say 2003 and 2004. We have having 2 losing seasons, and we're trying to have something to get the fans involved and get the team back excited about trying to win games and things like that. And we had the whiteout, and it's been a tradition for the last 20 years. Yeah. But it was great being back, just seeing the team, just seeing the stadium and the locker room. Things have changed. But it was a great experience, and just even watching the game, seeing some of the things. I think we're doing a good job, but I think we have to do a little. We have to get started a little sooner, especially when we play against Ohio State and teams like that. I guess teams we're playing against now, we can get away with that, but once you get against Ohio State to Michigan, that's going to be the real test. Yeah. So let's talk about USC. Let's talk about we're 4-0, so let's talk about USC. How y'all looking?
Yeah, so we 2-2 right now. Played a good North Carolina team. I won't give them too much props, but a good North Carolina team. Georgia, of course, is going to be Georgia. We had them going into halftime, and then Kirby Smart went in and made one of his famous speeches and predicted the future, I guess you should say, about how the second half would work. But I like the way Spencer Rattler is playing right now. I think he's leading the SEC in almost every category as far as passing. I'd like to see a little more balance with the running game. Offensive line, protect them a little bit better. But I think we're in a good position to get a good bowl game. I think the BCS is kind of a far reach right now, getting a good, one of those Final Four games. But I think we're in a good spot to get, 7 to 8 wins. And I'm looking forward to a win this weekend against Tennessee. So I know they'll come out fired up just based on what we did to them last year. But I think we actually going to pull this one out this weekend. So what the Memphis Tigers looking like?
Yeah, man. South Carolina might get to the Chick-fil-A Bowl or something. Hey, no, that's good deal though, man. Like, since I know you guys, I pay attention to both of y'all squads, and I respect them for sure. And I'm from Columbia. Thought I was gonna end up going to the Gamecocks, but it didn't. Yeah. Long story, but it didn't end up that happened. So I'm always a Gamecock fan also. Yeah. But our Memphis Tigers, we 3-1 right now. We lost to Missouri by 7. I think we had an opportunity to beat. I ain't saying we should have beat them, but we could have beat them if you know the difference in that or whatever. But I think Missouri a pretty good team, so I think we in good shape. We play Boise State this week. I saw them play one game. I think it was against North Dakota State or somebody like that. But they look good to me. But I know the competition wasn't top tier, so I think we're favored in the game. I'm looking for a W for sure, and especially a new thing that we're celebrating our 2003 football team, because these guys don't have to worry about that because they traditionally go to bowl games and do all that stuff. But our 2003 team is being celebrated because that was the first team to go to a bowl game in like 37 years at the University of Memphis. So I know it's going down tomorrow in Memphis. I wish I could be there, but my team has a game also, so we couldn't make it. But I know they finna have a good time in Memphis.
That's what's up. Shout out to Memphis.
Yeah. And I love Memphis. We went to the the Liberty Bowl in Memphis when I was at South Carolina. So we had a good time visiting the Lorraine Hotel.
The Civil Rights Museum.
Yeah, a lot of history there with MLK and the Civil Rights Museum. Stayed at the Peabody Hotel with the Ducks. They get on the elevator and come upstairs to the roof. If you get a chance, Google that. But yeah, it's a cool city. A lot of good food, a lot of rich history. So yeah, we had a good time over in Memphis.
Yeah. But speaking of bowl games, you gotta think bowl games are different. Back when we were playing, you get two maybe $3,000 check. Nowadays, guys get the NIL deals, so they don't care with that little check. So.
They're like, I ain't playing the bowl game.
Exactly. I'm sitting this one out.
Yeah, they sit the bowl games out. Yeah, so they thinking about the NFL, the injuries. So yeah, the bowl games are not as valuable as they used to be. Back in the day, the bowl game would be the thing that propelled you into the NFL. So you have a good bowl game, you got a chance to increase your draft projection and move up and make some more money. But I mean, they get to the money earlier now, so those bowl games are less important.
Yeah, then I think they have so many bowl games nowadays. Like I can't keep up. I don't know what y'all, but I know some of still the main ones like the Rose Bowl and things like that. But so many of them now.
Yeah. So it's
See, when you go somewhere like Penn State, you don't look at the little bowls. It was always little bowls too. He just like, hey, if it ain't the Rose Bowl, the Peach Bowl,
Orange
Bowl.
I think any bowl, especially after we get the 03, 04, we had 2 back-to-back losing seasons. So they was trying to get Joe out of there, so we had to turn 05 around, or we might have been going with Joe.
The bowl games. We're gonna have to have a whole show about them bowl games because it's a lot of tax write-offs and a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes with the bowl games. So at the end of the day, like everything else, it revolves around money. You know, it's all entertainment and making money. And you look at the matchups, they look at the fan bases. So a lot of times it's not all about the records and the teams. It's about who's gonna make the most fans come up here and get in these hotel rooms and get in these bars and spend money. So it's all economics at the end of the day, and it's a big money game.
Yeah, so they're not gonna send Southern Florida to North Dakota Bowl. Ain't nobody coming to that game. Especially it's cold outside too.
Yeah.
So
everybody want to be in the South, or you got to be in a dome. All about that as well. Yeah. So speaking of entertainment, speaking of money and the fan base and following, we're gonna transition. So we had our last show before the college football season started, and it's been a lot that's transpired since then. So of course, Coach Prime, that was the big story in the off season and the big story leading up to week 1. And what is Colorado gonna do? They came out week 1, had TCU. Hard fought game, but they pulled that one out. Then they went to Nebraska, won that one. Then they had Colorado State, pulled that one out, and they hit a little roadblock last week.
A little roadblock.
It was a bridge out. But it had a tough game, against Colorado State. But at the end of the day, I feel like everybody's waiting for that to happen, just because of what Coach Prime was doing and the impact that he's made. So we didn't get an opportunity to talk about Deion Sanders and just his impact at Colorado in Power 5 football. So what are you guys' thoughts on Deion Sanders and where Colorado is now and just the impact he's made on college football and that team in general?
Well, he's must-see TV, man.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't talked to anybody who doesn't know anything about Colorado and Deion Sanders right now.
Yeah.
Nobody. I got I don't have, but there's 90-year-old grandmas out there that know who Deion Sanders is, and they tuning in to him, see him perform and his kids play. He's entertainment for sure. I mean, he's charismatic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't help but want to listen to him, and he was one of the best to ever do it, man.
Yeah.
Like you gotta respect him. Yeah. I mean, I know there's a lot of people hating on him and all that stuff, but I can't see how you can hate on that dude, man. Yeah. You gotta respect him.
I would just say what he did is just so impressive, especially with the roster changes, 85 players. You got a whole new squad.
Yes.
Sometimes coaches can't rebuild after losing a few players. And he has a whole new squad, but I think he went in and he cleaned house. He said the players who want to win, you're going to work hard, you're going to stay here, and the players who ain't used to winning, they're going to be gone because you don't want to carry that culture into your new team as well. But I think what he's done is very impressive, especially coming from Jackson State. Like you said, a lot of people hated on him. But he's proven everybody wrong, and I think he's really showing what if you give some people chances, what they can do. And I was also thinking, like, who else could do it but primetime? Who could bring in the fan base? I was excited to go wait up to watch a Colorado. I ain't never heard about no Colorado football since like Cordell Stewart. But I ain't never thought about Colorado football. And now we're talking about Colorado football.
Yeah. Especially with them being in the mountain time zone, and they play most people in the western time zone. So you got to stay up extra late to watch them. Like that one game, I want to say Colorado State didn't end till 2:00 Eastern time.
Yeah, with all the overtime.
And people were watching it.
I was asleep.
Yeah, but there were people watching it though.
Yeah. It's
crazy.
must-see TV, and it's just, I think, Deion Sanders just being genuine and being the person that he is, and like you said, Rodney, he brought in all of those players in to just change the mentality and the culture of that team in a short amount of time. I mean, I think that's amazing. And I don't really know too many other people that can do that, but Deion Sanders is a winner. We all know, he's a man of God, man of faith, but at the same time, he's a father figure to all of these kids. And you can't fake that. We had that conversation. Like, you can't fake that And these high school kids now, they thinking about NIL, and they thinking about, you know, a coach that really cares about me and has my best interests at heart. And as far as marketing and getting a following and the whole entertainment, there's nobody better than Prime. I mean, Prime Time. We say Coach Prime. We don't say Coach Sanders. We don't say Dion. We say Prime Time. So as far as that marketing standpoint and just understanding that it's a business, Dion got that way ahead of his time. And I think it's beneficial to these kids with the NIL and the transfer portal. They can really, you know, dial into that, and Dion can help them navigate everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, just think how much money he would have made if they had that when he was coming up. Man, that dude was a pub machine back then. He, with Jerry Curl, and then he'll tell you right now, he said it was dry though, it wasn't wet. I was like, nah, that dry look wet. But hey, either way, you know, he always had eye. Well, I don't know if you call it eye, but he had something that gravitated. The camera gravitated to him all the time, man. And then on the field, he showed out, and he was gonna let you know that he showed out what he did too. Also,
he's basically a winner. Once you're a winner, you get addicted to it. When you touch, you're gonna try to turn the goal. And I think with him being, like he said, he got a gold jacket. Is when you're a coach and you're telling a kid something and you never played the game or you haven't experienced, it's different than when you can say I got a gold jacket. So I actually did it. You can see my stats and
at the highest.
I'm the best.
He did it at the highest. He did it at the highest level. He just didn't do it.
Exactly.
You know
Exactly.
He did it
So
at the highest level.
When you say something, your word means different than another coaches. So especially being now a player out of high school, and wanting that experience, that exposure, and just kind of seeing what it's like from someone who's been there at the highest level, especially if you want to get there. Like, why wouldn't you want to go play for the Prime? So I think they're gonna finish out with a great season. They do need to work with on the trenches. So you know you gotta have the O line and the D line. I think that's kind of what's hurting them right now. But I think after this season, everyone's gonna be knocking on the doors to get out there.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be a lot easier for him recruiting and all that. And I think it's changing the atmosphere of college football. Before it's like Saban, all of them were getting the top players now. With NIL deals and everything, it's just different.
And you go to the Alabamas, and the tide is turning. So we see Alabama, they not having I wouldn't say they having a bad year, but for Alabama it's a down year. You look at Clemson and a lot of these schools, so it's just changing now. And them kids, they want to play for a coach like Coach Prime. He can relate to them. He's been there. If I'm playing DB, I'm going to play for Coach Prime. I'm not going nowhere else. That's in my opinion, that's the best cornerback to ever play the game. So why wouldn't you want to take in everything he's teaching you, everything he's going, and he's going to get you to where you need to be to get to that next level. And he's doing it his way. And I'm going to just be honest, a lot of haters out there is, he's a successful African-American black male. He's a father. Like I said, once again, he has all the principles and morals in place, and he's doing it his way. So, I mean, he's being successful, and of course, you're going to have people that, don't understand or try to hate or whatever the situation may be. But I'm with Coach Prime, no matter what the situation is. And we expected the the USC game and the Oregon to be tough games. We expected that. So, they're going to have a tough game tomorrow at USC, but I think it's going to be I'm going to say Colorado's going to pull it out. They're going to bounce back after what happened last week, and I'm going to say Colorado's going to pull it out. I'm going to put it out there. I'm really I'm going to put it out. I'm going to put it out there. I'm putting it out there right now. I'm saying I think.
Is Caleb Williams hurt or something?
Nah.
I hope for a competitive game. I hope for a competitive game.
Yeah, exactly. I hope for a competitive game. Not this year, maybe a year or two, but
I'm saying they rallied behind Coach Prime. They was embarrassed about what happened last week, and they're gonna come out here. It's a home game too for Colorado.
We betting off camera. See if you really mean that. We betting off camera. But following up on that, I do want to say, like, even like you see how we rallied behind Prime and things like that, and even like after the loss last week, I saw someone made a comment like, "Oh, Oregon did this for us," making it like it was more of a race thing about like. Oh, now this even saying Colorado's like HBCU and things like that. Why do you think players have? I mean, not even just players, fans have rallied behind Prime versus other black coaches like Franklin, even at Penn State.
I mean, Franklin's out there, Prime out there in the open. Like he won all the smoke. It was kind of like when Penny Hardaway came to Memphis, He was like, we want all the smoke. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work out the same way that Prime did, because he started off 3-0 or whatever. But it was like he was out there blatant, like, hey, we out here for this, and I'm one of the best to ever do it. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. Like Franklin, he played in the league.
I don't know. I don't think so. That's what we're talking about.
I mean, it's like
because who Prime was before he started coaching.
Yeah, he ain't popular enough. You know? I mean, and that's what the media are gonna do. They don't care about the substance. Yeah. They just want what sells. You know what I mean? And Coach Prime said
that makes sense. That's why you used to say about Trump. People got behind Trump because when they saw this TV show, they don't know how he really is.
They know how he is. It's crazy.
Exactly. And they like that. So they felt as though he was real for them.
Some people like it.
Yeah. But you think about athletes that were vocal and just really had people gravitate toward them. Think about Ali. Mm-hmm. Like, I heard a lot of people say they didn't like Ali until he got sick and he couldn't speak anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't that popular when he was, when he was boastful and talking trash, but he backed it up. Same thing with Deion. Coach Prime. I'm not going to say Deion, Coach Prime. He does a lot of talking. He's flashy, flamboyant, but at the end of the day, he backs it up. His players produce. The proof is in the pudding. He was successful at Jackson State. He's successful to this point at Colorado, but I think the sky's the limit for them, and he'll get the players in place and do what he needs to do. But at the end of the day, they just don't like. It's like, oh, he's flashy, he's flamboyant, he's different, but at the same time, he's Prime. That's who he is. Mm-hmm. That's who he's always been.
Confident black man.
That's who he always is. So he, like you said, he's a confident black man, and there's nothing wrong with that. But once again, it's never been seen before at the Power 5 level. Mm-hmm. So that's the difference, and I think that's where a lot of the hate comes from. Yeah, he got his hat on, he got his sunglasses, but at the same time, I see this man praying. Mm-hmm. I see this man raising these young men. Mm-hmm. So you can't put all that out in front of who he is as a person, who he is as an individual, and who he is as a coach. Yeah. So he's been consistent his whole playing career, and that's translated over to his coaching style. He's been consistent the whole time. And you can't do nothing but respect that.
Yeah. Just think about this. We coach Little League football. How hard is it not to cuss and be a college football coach? You're a college football coach and you don't curse at all, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You ain't going off on the kids like with the cuss words or anything. Because I know in my little experience of coaching, I've coached high school, middle school, all that stuff. But it's hard not to let one slip every once in a while. You know what I mean? It's tough. Like if you can do that and still be as popular and just out there the way he is, man. That's something. That says something to me.
I would say that with my experience, even in high school, with Ray Stackley at Stratford, he didn't do any coaching. Wouldn't allow the assistant coaches, not coaching, didn't do any cursing. Wouldn't allow the assistant coaches to curse. Even at Penn State, Joe Powell, he didn't.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't let them curse. He said everything. It felt like a curse word, but he
really? Wow.
Say you get you a bus ticket going back to Kinlaw's barbershop and everything. he wouldn't curse. So I would say that some coaches, I guess he just built that into their culture.
That's good.
That's kind of how they are.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that too is just respect from the players to the coach. Think about from your parents, for example. You don't want to disappoint your parents. Like, that was my whole thing. Like, your parents don't have to fuss at you. The same thing with the coach. That coach don't have to approach you a certain way because it's all about not disappointing that coach. Yeah. So, what Deion did as a player in the higher level that he played the game. So as a player myself, I don't want to disappoint my coach in the way that I perform, the way that I prepare, the way that I eat, sleep, whatever it may be. So when he speaks, like, my antennas are up, compared to some of these other coaches. They might not have that level of respect, because they hadn't done it at that level as Coach Prime. So I think that speaks volumes about, how he played the game and how he approached the game. So his players want to approach that and show that same level of dedication that he had to the game. And he talks about all the time about keeping the main thing the main thing. So it's about loving the game and do you respect the game, and he did it. So he's not telling them to do something that he didn't do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So he did it. And those players are reciprocating what he did in the example that he showed, not just talking, that he showed. And I think that makes a big difference in where he is now and where he's going to go. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think we talked about Coach Prime, and it was a great conversation. And once again, I'm saying Colorado is gonna win the game tomorrow. We'll talk about that later on.
But let's stick to these African American coaches.
Yeah, we're gonna flip it to the other side.
Mel Tucker at Michigan State University.
He probably cussed a little bit.
Basically, he got fired for moral turpitude. So basically, he got bad morals. So he has some character issues. So basically, he got fired for phone sex. Lost I think close to $75 million. What do y'all think about that?
That's pretty tough, man. This can go a whole lot of different ways here. You know what I mean? Because I guess it was a lady who been raped before, and she was an advocate and a public speaker for women in that realm, right? So it's like, out of all the people in the world, you gonna pick this person to do like this or whatever? But then it's like, if you try to start peeling back the layers, it's a whole bunch of doubt and mystery about this thing that maybe he got set up, maybe she got caught up, like, and now she trying to tell on him or whatever. So what's y'all theories on this whole situation? And I know you got to be delicate to the rape victim situation, but it's a lot of people that went to jail that are innocent of rape and stuff like that too. So you got to look at both sides of the stuff.
And I agree with that. I think there's more to it. Phone sex is basically what it came down to. From what I read, I don't know the whole story, but it sounds like he got fired from having phone sex, and she didn't agree to it. So I'm thinking, how you on the phone with somebody? And what are they saying is turning you on?
Yeah.
So it's like and that's you got $75 million you got in the line, and you doing something like that. It's just. I think they need to. I think once we hear the full story, hear more about what's going on, I think our opinions might change. I do think it was a rush to judgment just because of everything that happened, how quick it happened. But I wasn't there. I don't know, and I don't want to say he's lying, she's lying, any of that. So you have to respect both sides of the story. But it's something fishy there. I know I ain't putting up 75 million. I ain't taking a chance at 75 million. You call me, I'm hanging up the phone.
Yeah, it's a lot of he say, she say, and from what I understand, there's a lot of phone calls, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 90.
Like 90 phone calls.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did it take 89 phone calls for it to get to that point? But once again, not to be, harsh or, picking sides or, this show, we would be sensitive, to rape victims, anybody that's been a victim of sexual assault. But once again, you just have to, you got to look at all the facts and look at everything that's there. And, Mel Tucker, I don't think he had anything in his record, before this time to that magnitude. And one thing I thought was interesting was the whole Michigan State, they came out with a slogan like, we're going back to the Michigan State of old or something like that. And they brought back,
like
the Antonio. Kind of like that theory. So, it's just the undertone of it, and just reverting back to, the Michigan State, like I said, of old. So it just kind of makes you think, and as they say, winning cures everything.
Yeah,
and
you're
Michigan
right about
State is not having a good year. Right, they had Kenneth Walker, the big running back they had a good year, and Mel Tucker came in hot, and it's not as good this year. And, things come out, but once again, if he did what they said he did, then I'm all for it. But he deserves to be fired. But you still have to do your due diligence. Make sure you have all information, no rush to judgment. But it's just unfortunate that a coach. I think he's a great coach. Just based on what he did, leaving Georgia, coming to Michigan State, and they had success early. So it's just unfortunate for that to happen to a coach, I think, of his magnitude, regardless of race, whatever the situation may be. But I think he'll bounce back. Hopefully he'll bounce back like some of his counterparts.
Yeah, they get triple chances.
Some of his counterparts. I hope he'll bounce back and get an opportunity once all this is said and done. Yeah.
Back that slogan, I don't like the way that slogan sounds. That's the old shit. That sounds like "Make America Great Again."
Yeah, for real, man.
What does that mean, though? Yeah. So I guess we leave that for another episode.
Yeah.
For real though, you always got to make sure that you see all sides of the story.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world with all the social media and everything, like people just got these quick fingers, man. Like they see something. I'm out here saying something that I hadn't even thought about what I'm trying to say right now, and there's a lot of hatred. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know really what happens, and now you putting this out there and for everybody to see and form their opinion on that. And a lot of people don't understand that the social media is just regular people saying their opinions or hiding behind these keyboards saying stuff that they would never say in real life. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, now I agree with them, and you don't know 10% of the facts. You know what you're talking about first before you put something out there. And I wish more people would do that, because a whole bunch of stuff gets started and fights and I hate you, now you hate me. You got that purple shirt on, man. Why you wearing purple? Why you wearing purple, man? You want to fight now? You know, I'm like, dang, that's crazy.
You also got to think of what sells. Good stories, happy stories. On
you're right. You're right.
Bad and something bad happening, or a scandal, or it's like you see people doing well, and it's like sometimes people just, even like with Dion, they were just waiting for Dion.
They couldn't wait.
It's like sometimes when you're doing well, people just, they're not happy for you. And I hate to say it, and sometimes even I know with me, sometimes you gotta keep things to yourself. You can't always express all your good news because everybody ain't happy for you. So sometimes you just gotta be happy for yourself.
Definitely right about that.
Yeah. Shout out to J. Cole. He said, "You tell people your dreams, they shoot them down."
Exactly.
So you can't tell everybody, what you got in the works and what you're trying to do. So, just believe in yourself at the end of the day. And once again, I hope the Mel Tucker situation, works out in the correct way, and is handled the correct way. So if he did what they said he did, then handle that situation the correct way. Once again, respect to anyone that's been a victim of sexual assault or anything of that nature. But you have to make sure that you get all the facts and people are treated fairly, and nobody knows what happened but those two, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we have a legal process, and they're doing due diligence as far as the Michigan State University, because at the end of the day, it's about recruiting. You just be honest. It's about recruiting. And the parents that want to send their sons, their daughters to that university, and they want to make sure that it's a cloud over Michigan State right now just because of that whole situation. So hopefully everything works out in the correct way, and everything is handled and dealt with appropriately, and we'll
This kind of a lesson to all guys, though. Okay, maybe I don't know if she's telling the truth or he's telling the truth or whatever, but you can get put in a situation to where somebody could lie on you, and they tear your whole career up because you did not handle certain situations the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, guys, men, young men, any high school kids that are maybe have some type of career going on or anything like that, people will take advantage. Not just women either. I mean, it's guys. I mean, anybody will try to find a way to make money off of you if they can. So you got to be careful and diligent and selective on the people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah, that's a good point you made. Even with high school players in high school now, you have to be smart about situations you in. Even like going to high school parties, what if y'all underage drinking, you get caught, now you mess up your chance to go to college. You got to think about every aspect at that level, especially if you got a goal in your mind and you really want to get somewhere. You got to watch who you're around and always you got to think. You got to think ahead. You can't just like my mom said, move around willy nilly. You got to think. You got to think.
Yeah, so that's definitely great. I like that. And then we'll transition over a little bit. So of course we talked about college football, but the NFL season kicked off since the last time we've been in studio, and it just seems like every week it's a big time player that's getting hurt. We heard about the NFLPA wanting to get rid of the field turf and going back to grass with a lot of injuries that's happening, but from my side, Aaron Rodgers, I think that was the biggest one coming into the lead up in the NFL season. But I was watching the Hard Knocks and getting into the Jets. They thought it was one of the Super Bowl when they signed Aaron Rodgers. And lo and behold, 4 plays into the season, they right back to the Jets they were of old. No shots at Zach Wilson, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers.
Take shots at him. Like, they can find anybody. I mean, come on.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and I think it's just sad for the Jets fans. Just all the energy they had and all the build up to the season and
First series.
yeah, like I said, the first series, 4 plays into the season, you lose Aaron Rodgers. It was sad for the Jets fans, but I mean,
Yeah, I didn't even think it was that serious. I hit. I'm like, all right.
It didn't look bad.
yeah.
Like, man, he ain't coming back. I'm like, wow. And this even that injury, Achilles, like him being his age, that's a tough injury to come back from.
It was like, down goes Frazier.
Yeah, even like what we was talking about before, like most people they see the Rodgers, the Brady, those careers and think that's the majority. 10, 12, 15 years, the majority is 2-3 years.
Yeah.
You actually in college longer than you playing in the NFL.
Yeah, you're lucky to get 2 or 3. Yeah.
So most players don't retire; they bow out because of injury. You can't go longer. Yeah. Even like Raj, look at Chubb. Look at that injury. Remember back even when we was coming up, who was it? Willis McGahee. It was 2003.
Yeah.
Those knee injuries and look at the injury of Chubb. I heard it was an MCL. It looked a lot worse.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. What's your boy from South Carolina?
Marcus Lattimore.
Lattimore. He was a beast, man.
Yeah, he was.
I see all those injuries vividly in my mind too. It's like you don't forget somebody's knee turning the wrong way. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, like this guy was so good and something like this happened. You know, like Chubb was a weight room warrior. You know, it's like
strong as an ox.
It's like like Derrick Henry getting hurt or something. You like Derrick Henry can't get hurt. He's Superman. You know, it's like Chubb the same way. You feel like man out here benching 800 pounds on the video. You think that a hit ain't gonna hurt him, but it can happen to anybody.
Yeah, but luck plays so much into it as well. I remember my freshman year at Penn State just running plays over, making a little cut, playing around, and my leg got stuck in the turf. I tore mine, my ACL, and I was like, I got up, my leg went back the other way. I'm like, something ain't right. And they told me, I was like, oh, you tore your ACL? I'm like, ACL? I'm like, I ain't gonna ever play again. So it's like I had to, even coming back to that form, I would just never, I could still play, but it just, that instinct and that speed, it was just different. Once you tear it, it's just you're not the same player ever again.
Yeah. So what's you guys? So Chance, I know you play receiver, you play quarterback, you play running back. I played on the defensive side, but you hear all this talk about concussions and CTE and all of this stuff. So if I'm an offensive player, we heard disputes from different ways, but would you prefer for somebody to go low on you, or do you want that concussion? Concussion, you 2 weeks, you back in the game. ACL, MCL, you year and a half. So just from that preference, what type of hit, would you prefer to take in that situation?
Man, that's a good question. I definitely don't want nobody taking my knees out, knees or ankles. But
there you go.
But I don't feel like every time I get hit up high, I'm getting concussion or anything like that.
Exactly.
Concussion, I guess, like you said, they play on turf a lot more now. Yeah. I played on turf one time, and that's when I tore my ACL.
Yep.
I never had. Well, I had a concussion once before that I really know of. Maybe more. Who knows? Yeah. but the knee thing is tough, man. And I remember it was probably the 4th or 5th game of the season when that happened. And you out there starting, you playing, you like, oh man, I'm finna get right. I like a sophomore, and then the next away game, everybody gone. You still at the dorm by yourself with the freshmen and the other people, the people who don't travel to the game. And it's like, dang, they don't care about me though. You know what I'm saying? Like it can get depressing too, man. You know what I mean? And I know head trauma and all that stuff is equally as dangerous, but I'd rather you tackle me up high than take my knees out. Just from experience, I think. Yeah. I think I can not hit my head back on the ground. I know the ground right there, right?
Yeah.
So I ain't just gonna let my head flop back.
Yeah. You gonna brace yourself for that.
My parents put me in karate when I was 7, so I knew how to fall down.
I would say with me that's a good question, but it's a tough to answer just because I had ACL surgery and I had a concussion. Yeah. But I would say just getting hit in your legs, being a running back, I just didn't like getting hit. My goal is not to get hit at all. I want to score a touchdown every play. So my goal is not to get hit at all. But I would say even concussions, I think a little scary. I remember when I had mine in high school, playing against. We will talk about that a little later. We get to the toughest teams, but Northwestern. I remember getting a concussion, I just remember just being like blanking out. I remember going for halftime, like, Coach, something's wrong. I was like, I can't remember nothing. He's like, you better remember something. So after halftime, they put me back out there. Next thing you know, I'm 20 yards behind the huddle. I don't know what's going on. So it was a scary experience, but it's like just being lost. So that's scary. But ACL, you out a year.
Yeah.
If you ever able to play again. So it's hard to answer that, but with concussions, you never know how it affect you later in life. Like one day you might wake up and something just ain't clicking right. So you just, and there's not a lot of studies done with CTE because you can't really evaluate or do studies until someone has passed away.
So that's different. That makes a good point. So you kind of knew that you didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So some people don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, put me back in, already.
Yeah. But that's how I was. I was fighting my coach to get back in. I didn't know, but it's like you don't know, but it's like being in like a la-la land. But you think everything is normal. That's like saying people who drunk, like, oh, I'm good to drive. You get out there, you can, you in a ditch, you in 5 feet. So you think you're good, you think you're coherent, you think everything's fine, but it's not.
Yeah, I got you.
But and a lot of concussions. I know I had another one at Penn State. It wasn't a diagnosis one, but I remember in Michigan State game, a guy tackled me and my feet were together. My butt hit the ground, my back hit, and I remember my helmet just ricocheting off the ground. And it was like the fourth quarter, so I just remember seeing lights. I'm like, yeah, something ain't right. So it was like the last series of the game. But I'm glad that was it. But I knew something wasn't right after that. So then I'm like, I'm trying to get to the league, and we had the bowl game coming up, so I got like a month or something to heal up, so I'm good. But even that was dumb of me to even hide that.
Yeah, we always was taught to be tough, man.
Yeah.
Like you don't show that you hurt and stuff like that, and then sometimes that's a good thing because that's a good quality to have, that you ain't gonna punk out or every time I break a fingernail, coach, I gotta come out there. I know some kids like that. I'm not saying no names, but then it's also a detriment also because you can go too far with it and be like, man, I really don't need to be playing right now, but I'm gonna tough it out just because I'm tough on my man, type thing. So it's a thin line between all that stuff and who knows where that line is, or whatever like you say, you trying to go to the league. Would I risk this to go to the league? Heck yeah, man. I'm gonna go to the league. I need this money. You know what I'm saying? But if it don't happen, and then now you limping around, or
20
you got CTE. I know y'all heard about the dude who I don't know if he killed his mom or not, but his mama found dead, and then he missing and all that stuff. And, that's CTE all the way, right?
It was another case came out of
crazy.
Was it Chandler Jones?
Chandler Jones.
Something going on with him.
Yeah, he was saying that Aaron Hernandez didn't kill himself in prison, and then he just started crying. But I saw where he got arrested for violating parole. I think it was for domestic violence or something like that. Wow. So yeah, he was, he's obviously got some mental issues going on, and I think it was the Patriots or whatever teams he played for. They was like, they hope he get the help he needs or whatever. So you got to think about it from that side, So you got the CTE, which could possibly be a long-term issue, but as far as if you playing today, that's a short-term recovery. But then you got the knee injuries, that's a long-term recovery if I'm playing now. But, at the end of the day, you look at Earl Campbell and some of those running backs that, took all them hits down low on them knees and stuff. Them guys can barely move. They're in wheelchairs right now. So it's about, quality of life and, from that mental aspect, do you want to take those hits up tall? And then from a defensive aspect, I'm not tackling Nick Chubb up high. Like I'm not. That's a business decision.
Highlight.
I'm not gonna be on ESPN top 10 because he done ran me over in the open field. So from the defensive side, a lot of people were trying to say it was a dirty hit, and should he have went low on Nick Chubb and this and that. But at the end of the day, I'm getting graded on that game.
What choice you got?
Yeah.
Like all right, so miss the tackle.
Yeah.
Not well. Get ran over.
Yeah.
Or make sure that you get him down.
Yeah, you get him down. Yeah.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, it's tough. And they talk about the NFL brotherhood and all of that, but it's which one do you want? You know what I'm saying? So that defensive player, he gotta go home. He got a family to feed too. So it's a tough decision in that, and it's unfortunate because Nick Chubb was, in my opinion, one of the top 3 backs in the league right now, and he was having a good year. So, and he'll bounce back. I mean, you look at, I think he's one of them AP type players. So,
He's
he's gonna come back.
But when he does bounce back, what is that gonna do to the money? Then before even the season,
you
look
damage
at
goods.
the running back market, they weren't getting the payment they were looking for.
This furthermore justifies NIL.
Yeah.
High school. Make you some money in high school.
Well, you can.
Make you some money in college.
Yeah.
You might go to the league. You might be the best player that ever played this game.
Yep.
One play, it's over.
Football's a tough sport.
And then, you know you ain't hardly go to class that much. Like now, what you gonna do with yourself, man? like you can go work at a used car dealership or something like that. But I mean, I know that's just a joke because there's a lot of student athletes that go to school and do what they're supposed to do in school.
Yeah.
But you know there are some that could have capitalized on so much money before they made it to the pros.
Yeah.
But never got that opportunity, and now they live in a trailer park or something like that, and it's one of those 30 for 30 stories, like where are they now type thing, where they could have been straight and set for life, you know, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's why we need to celebrate that instead of a lot of people talking down on the NIL and all that stuff.
I do think they need to regulate it a little more than just giving an 18-year-old $5 million. I think they need to maybe set up a fund where you're getting a little bit in college, and you out, you got something set aside for you because you're 18, you gonna blow that money.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you give it to your parents and you ain't cut.
They gonna blow it too.
So somebody waiting for that money to blow. So I do think they need to set it up in like maybe like a fund to where you can get a little bit while you're there, and you will get a certain amount when you out, things like that. Especially $5-10 million at 18.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't know what to do with $5-10 million. I'm 38.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, and I keep saying this: financial literacy has to be a part of the NIL. Like, you got to show these kids how to invest their money, how to use that money to make money and sustain. You know, $1 million really don't last you that long right now in this economic environment, everything that's going on. Yeah, so you got to make your money grow. So I think, in my opinion, that financial literacy, not even for athletes, NIL, whatever, like just in college in general, like we got to show people that financial literacy and how to make money and how to sustain and make your money work for you. And I think that's a big component of it. And we said this before, like the NIL, a lot of these coaches, and Dabo Swinney, I'm going to put it out there. You know, he said he doesn't like the NIL and the transfer portal and all this kind of stuff. But before the college players could get money and get on our NIL, these college coaches had control of these college football players. Because y'all know when these scouts come to campus, they talk to the head coach, who should I be looking at? Who should I be talking to? So now you don't have them players in your pocket anymore. So now I can make money in college. I don't need you to be my representative. I don't need you to speak for me. I can get money right now, right here, based on what I'm doing, based on the film. So a lot of these players may not make it to the league. People get hurt, things happen, whatever situation may be. But at the end of the day, I'm going to get some money, some capital off of what I've done at the college level. And I think it's right and I think it's fair. But once again, the financial literacy, I think, is a big part of that. And these players have to make it work for them and be smart with it. You know, don't go out here and buy all these cars and jewelry and all this kind of stuff. You know, my man Melvin on Baby Boy, it's guns and butter. Baby. It's guns and butter. So you got to understand the difference between the two and be responsible. And that, I'm going to go back to Deion for a second, but Deion understood that. He had the jewelry, he had the Jerry curl, he had all that kind of stuff. But he was able to sustain and make that money work for him and keep growing his income based on who he was. He was prime time. He was prime time. So I put it out there, a lot of these coaches right now, they don't care about y'all best interest. They want to get you on campus. Yeah, they're going to get you in there with that NIL deal, but at the end of the day, do you want that legacy? Do you want to build that long-term money for my kids? That's what we looking for. So show these kids how to grow their money and be responsible with it, and the NIL to be advantageous for everybody who's eligible to get it. So
and think about it, really, NIL spreading out these players. These coaches ain't gonna be winning like they were. So they ain't gonna be able to get their jobs.
Yeah, you gotta really be able to coach now.
All of them, they don't have all the 5 stars now. So not as attractive as it used to be. And even remember during our days, they used to hold scholarships over your head. Like, you don't do this, you ain't gonna have a scholarship.
Your money. Yeah, we gonna put your money.
If you ain't performing, what I need you for if you ain't playing, you hurt or you injured.
Exactly. Which one is it? You ain't gonna be right no matter what you say.
You out there limping. You can't go 100%. You get yelled at for not going 100%. You got one leg. So, but yeah.
Man, all facts.
Yeah.
So let's move on to this Miami and Denver game.
Ooh-wee.
This is the elephant in the room. Like, how do you get beat 70 to anything? 70? That's 10 touchdowns. Come on now. I ain't never seen a little league score.
I was just about to say, I done seen some bad little league teams.
70?
And they ain't get dropped 70 on.
It's a GG song. They stuck them out to the lights. They turned the lights on.
Man, I'm gonna say, we in the GFL, like that's a running clock situation. Like you call timeout, the clock running. Ball go out of bounds, the clock running. First down, the ball running. Hey, we ain't stopping that clock the rest of the week. We get y'all back to that locker room. With some type of respect, we gonna get you back to that locker room.
This is an NFL team. This is the best of the best.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
I wonder how that meeting went. I wonder how the next day went. Man, you getting clowned on by everybody. It ain't like you Arizona, so you ain't trying to get the first pick. So unless they might be, and we don't know.
So I did not see the box score or how the score went, but was it like 50-0 at halftime?
I ain't see it. I ain't had to see none of that. All I saw was the end of 70. Like, what happened? What went wrong?
Yeah, it was like 20-10 in the second quarter. It was like 20-10 in the second quarter at some point.
So the rest of the game only scored 10 points.
And then the floodgates just opened up.
to a track meet.
But to me, I think the worst part was Sean Payton. Remember he called the OC out. That's at the Jets right now. He's like, he was the worst head coach ever to come before me, and this was the worst coaching job. So I feel like when he said that, like that's karma. Like karma came back to him. Like, I'm gonna show you what a bad coaching job is. For somebody to score 70 points to you in the NFL, like, I mean, at some point, like, at what point on the sideline do you look at each other and be like, is it 45-10? Is it 35?
You need to go ask some fans. Maybe they can play some defense.
I've been humbled as a coach because I have coached some teams that, no matter how good a coach you are, they're not gonna be good.
Yeah.
All right. So coaches get the big head. Think about it. Belichick with Brady.
Yeah.
He thought he was the best coach in the world, but he ain't done nothing since Brady gone.
Nope.
Sean Payton had Drew Brees.
Yep.
People underestimate Drew Brees. That man was a top 10 quarterback ever. You know what I'm saying? Dude was great. Yeah. I mean, he might not have been Brady because he was with Brady at the same time and Peyton Manning, but he's right up there with them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Russell Wilson ain't that. We see that. Nah. I thought he was a great quarterback, at first, but then it was like he just started declining every year, and I don't know what's happening. I don't know. It's Surreal putting that thing on too hard. He ain't studying film. He up all night or what?
He ain't focused.
Yeah. But I don't want to blame it on her because I want to think that she's a good woman also. Yeah. But he just, some people hit their peak at certain times and dip. So maybe that's him. But coaches take too much pride in how good a coach they are instead of how good the players they are. Like LeBron James got a whole bunch of coaches some jobs because he's the man. Yeah. And you coach LeBron, now you got another job. No, it's LeBron that got you that wins, not you. Not you. Yeah. You just smart enough to say, hey, get the ball to him.
Get the ball to LeBron.
70?
Yeah, that's
70?
Yeah.
That's a basketball.
and they took a knee. They could have broke the record. 72 was the record. They could have kicked the field goal.
They could have scored another touchdown, probably.
Yeah, they probably could have. Because there wasn't nobody pinching nobody over there. Nothing.
Wow. That's embarrassing.
And then we're supposed to have a good defense.
Yeah, they're supposed to have a good defense.
A high school team could probably done better than that. Come on now. 70-20.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Yeah, I saw the end score. I'm like, man, that's embarrassing. Like, I mean, I probably put Levante Davis or something.
Halftime.
Hey, I don't want no more coach. Tired. I'm taking it over to the house.
So I know we talk about how bad that score was and how bad Denver played, but is Miami their real deal?
We'll find out Sunday.
They got some weapons.
We'll find out Sunday. They got Buffalo Sunday.
Okay.
So we'll find out Sunday. You know, I seen some of that game against Denver, but I think Tua and Tyreek Hill, you know, that's a deadly combination. Then they getting Jalen Waddle back this week as well. So I mean, I think they're legit.
Yeah.
You know, Denver was. We're gonna push them to the side, you know. But I definitely think, you know, Miami is a legit team, and we'll see this weekend when they play against, you know, Buffalo and that tough Buffalo defense. So Buffalo is legit. So if they like the scoreboard up, they're definitely not putting 70 up. I mean, they ain't having again.
I bet a lot of people a lot of Denver fans miss work this week. They got out sick all week. They won't see nobody.
Did y'all see what Tyreek Hill said he was gonna do when he retired?
Nah.
So he said he got this year and next year and he retired.
Yeah.
Right. Then he said, I think it was another guy on his team. They were doing like a little podcast type thing. He said, he's like, "What's up, bro? You know, on the real, I'm gonna be a porn star when I retire." And dude was like, "Oh, it was Mike Evans." It was him and Mike Evans. Mike Evans was like, "Okay, well, do what you do, man. Like why you had to say this on my show?" And then, you know, and then I looked at, it was on yahoo.com actually. I looked at the little comments and, you know, they got all these anonymous people talking crazy, talking about like he Antonio Brown and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, I mean, there was some crazy stuff to say for sure, but you know, it's just funny. Anything you say, like these comments gonna tear you up, man.
Yeah, I think it's funny too. Like the Miami coach, like every time I see him, I just start laughing. Like he looked like a IT. You know what I'm saying? Like IT support. No shout out to people that work at IT. You know what I'm saying? But like he's a good coach. He just don't look like, you know, the typical football coach.
AI programmer.
Yeah. But obviously he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
so
man.
yeah, he got Miami clicking on all cylinders. So much respect to with Coach McDaniel over there in Miami. So he got them clicking on all cylinders, and a lot of people knocked Tyreek Hill, you know, when he left KC and went over there. But obviously Tyreek Hill saw something in Tua and what they had building over there, and just, you know, shout out to him as a wide receiver.
He from
changing
Miami
the game.
He a baller too.
Yeah, he a baller.
Yeah, he gonna ball wherever he goes.
That's where he from too.
Yeah.
He want to get back home.
Yeah.
I heard he did say something against Micah Parsons. He don't want that smoke. He don't want that. Parsons hit him. It's over. He go ahead and retire now.
Yeah. Don't worry about 2 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, so we talked about Miami, and then just to kind of, you know, the last topic of the night, we talked about it, you know, off air, and we had some conversation, but just the toughest player, the toughest team, kind of toughest matchup that everybody's faced. So Tyreek Hill, like, you put Tyreek Hill in the slot, I don't know too many people that can cover Tyreek Hill. Just be honest with you. Like, first of all, even if he on the outside, you can't put a hand on him because he's so quick off the line of scrimmage, and you know he's just that explosive off the line of scrimmage. So he's a tough matchup for anybody, any game, any DB. So, you know, we want to kind of hit on that, just the toughest matchups that everybody has faced. You know, maybe high school, college, professional, you know, overseas, whatever it may be. Just that player that was that guy. Like, you know, he changed the game. Like,
I know for me, I don't remember what play. It was a whole team. It was I want to say 2001 or 2002 against Northwestern. It's called the Purple People Eaters. Man, they knocked everybody out of the game.
That's why I got that purple shirt on right now.
Y'all American tight
that way I got purple on.
I'm representing for remembrance. But yeah, that was probably it. I remember they just had a stout team. We couldn't do nothing. They had a tough D-line. They were short, strong. I mean, I remember just a play. They ran through our lineman, our tackle. Our guard tore his ACL. It was a formation. They had Mo at full. We had a fullback. They had Mo behind the fullback and me behind him. So they tore the lineman ACL, ran him over, and I'm there like, this ain't gonna happen. That was the game in high school I got a concussion on. Yeah, that was probably the toughest team. And Mo was All-American. Mo was All-World. Mo was player of the year in South Carolina.
Yeah,
they took Mo out. And I was like, we looked around like, it's gonna be a long game. This is like the first quarter.
Yeah.
So that was a rough one.
Yeah, that was that running clock situation.
Yeah. I remember catching the ball, just jumping on the ground and trying to get hit. I think the week before it was I can't remember his name. Terrell, it was a receiver at Somerville. They broke his leg in like 3 places.
Wow.
So like this team, they were tough. I can't remember if they won a state championship that year, but they were good. I mean that defense, but college, NFL, overseas, all of it. I think they were probably the toughest.
Wow. Northwestern.
Yeah, for us, I would say shout out to Timberland High School, St. Stephen, South Carolina. But we played Union. We played Union High School. I think that was my junior year, but they had Roscoe Crosby. And Roscoe was like the second coming of Peter Warwick. He had a little stance with the hands up, and I remember, they had Roscoe. He was like on. They had Fox Sports South.
The Gatorade Player of the Year.
Yeah, he was a player of the year, and they hyped him up that week. And our high school coach Morgan, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna let no Roscoe P. Coltrane or whatever his name is come down here and embarrass us." And I mean, he ran the opening kickoff back. And it was bad, but that Union team that was a tough team. So that was when the Union had all people from South Carolina. They had the Little Johns. It was like the brother, the cousin.
They still got Little Johns.
Yeah, them Little Johns and Union
and Gaffney.
Yeah, Union and Gaffney. So they had some folks that come through there, and they had some tough teams, and they were good, and they put it on us. So that was probably the toughest at the high school level, was that Union High School football team.
Yeah. That's what's up. I'm not gonna go with a team. I'm gonna go with a player, and I'm gonna go with 2 players. I'm gonna go with a football player and a basketball player. Yeah. My football player was Raymond Priester. Y'all remember he played?
Yeah, he played at Clemson. Yeah.
We played them in the playoffs, first round of the playoffs, and I was a freshman at the time, right? Yeah. So we had seniors on the team. I looked up to, thought they was tough. Man. Man, this dude was trucking these dudes like holding on for 10 yards, dude, just carrying them down the field. And I was like, I gotta get in the weight room. That's the only thing I could think of. Like, woo. It's like, man, it's some dudes out here, man, But then, so Raymond Priest on the football field. I think he was. I don't think it was Allendale Fairfax. It was I can't remember what team he played for, but yeah, he was a beast for sure. Yeah. But then basketball, Jermaine O'Neal.
Okay.
Played against him, and So me and him was on the same team for AAU, and when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, so we cool, we buds. And like he wasn't that great when he was young. He was 6'9" in 9th grade, but he's that tall. You got to gain coordination and all this stuff. But by the time we got to 11th grade, dude was just dunking on everybody, man. And Columbia High at the time, we took pride in our basketball team. Man. We used to D up, do all this, but you got a 6'11" guy, and then he got a teammate, Bud Johnson, went to USC. Yeah, he was 7 foot, so you got 7 foot, 6'11". Yeah, I think their small forward was 6'8". The shooting guard was 6'6", and the point guard was 6 foot. And I'm like small forward, power forward. I'm maybe 6'3". Yeah. So no, it was a tough game. We fought hard and everything, but you just can't do something with somebody that big, and and he just could do whatever he wanted to do, and it was like, I know I'm not going to the NBA. I need to focus on football.
Yeah. What about college, Ron? What about the toughest team or player?
There's a few of them. I would say team probably Florida State. Yeah. Just that defense with Bunkley. I just remember getting hit by them. It was like a wall. Bunkley was tough. And player, I would say the player I would just you see him like, oh, he's different, was Ted Ginn Jr. Yeah. I want to say it was his freshman year. He got it was a punt return. All I saw was his jersey, the back of his jersey, and his cleats. So I'm like, yeah, he's a little too fast. And you see players as fast, but then you see them in person with pads on. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, he was done. He was gone. So yeah, I would say those two probably.
Yeah. College, I would say, I know a lot of people saw the Swamp Kings on Netflix, but them Florida teams, like Percy Harvin. Like, Percy Harvin was probably the fastest person I ever seen in my life in person. Like, yeah, Percy Harvin was a beast. And then they had, I remember I was on kick return and special teams and stuff, but they had D linemen that was running down there, you know what I'm saying, running 4.5s at 260, 270 pounds. Like, that was different, you know what I'm saying?
Way different.
Yeah, but, you know, that SEC was that, you know, you got the fast, big players, but those Florida teams, and I would say Percy Harvin and Darren McFadden. Like, Darren McFadden he had that extra gear. Like, he was different. He was different. Yeah.
That's what's up. Well, you know, y'all were SEC and was that Big 12?
Big 10.
Big 10. Yeah. My bad, Big 10. So I was conference.
Don't get us mixed up with Big 12, man.
I was Conference USA at the time, but we played a lot of SEC teams. So every year we played Tennessee, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. Then we played Missouri a couple times, stuff like that. But, you know, playing down in Tennessee, T. Martin, quarterback. I think it was Travis Henry. One of them Travises. Was a running back. They was some bad boys out there, man. They were like bowling ball out there.
I remember Henry.
But we played against some pretty good teams, man. Like I said, Ole Miss was pretty good back then. It seemed like the years that we played all the SEC teams, all of them were ranked.
All of them good.
You know, all of them was in the top 15, and they was some good teams. But it was just good getting to play against that competition and stuff like that. You know. As far as a team wise, I will say this about the other conferences compared to Big 10, Big 12, SEC. Not all the time, but there's a lot of times that the first string is comparable.
Yeah.
But it's that second string and that third string that the second string is just as good as your first string, and the third string is just as good as your first string too. So you just bringing them. And that's the big difference in the games. Like, your best guy get tired and somebody else come in, they taking advantage.
You coming back with somebody that's right at that level.
I would say that's true. I remember even at Penn State in practice having to go against Paul Posluszny. After Paul left, it was Dan Connor, then NaVarro Bowman and Sean Lee, so they always had them stacked up. And I was going against him every week in practice. So I didn't realize how good they were until after. Like, these dudes Hall of Famers.
That depth, that definitely makes a difference. And I think that's where a lot of the teams to compete at that high level, and you know, you get into the playoffs and the BCS, that's where it comes in, is that depth. You know, across the board, you got the linemen, you got the DBs, you know, wide receivers, running back, whatever situation may be. So that depth, like you said, you might have a good first seven right there in the trenches, but once you get that second and third quarter, you start seeing teams pull away because they have that depth right there, and they built that, and that makes a big difference with the Power 5 schools. Yeah, for sure. So, and it's hard to find those players consistently at those smaller conferences. So, but yeah, it's definitely been a good show. Appreciate Chance coming on. Our guest correspondent. So our special co-host here, you guys will be seeing Mr. Chance Nesbitt from time to time. It's been a minute. We've been away for a little while. A lot of good topics to talk about, and we're gonna track this college football season. We're gonna track the NFL. We're gonna track these trending stories and keep you up on what's going on and give you our opinions of what's going on. And it's been a fun show. Good to be back in the lab. Good to be back in the studio. PCP Podcast. Ron, tell them where they can find us at on social media. Don't forget us. You can find us on Twitter at Palmetto Crew, on YouTube at Palmetto Crew, and you can also email us at palmettocrew@gmail.com. And if y'all looking for any training in the Grayson area, you can look up KenlawAcademy.com. Shut your podcast. Chance has a podcast. Can I get a discount on that training? I got you. No, I'm just like, you know how we do. We always trying to get a discount on something. But for real though, I also have a podcast with some of my boys from Columbia, South Carolina. It's called the RIP 28 Podcast. It's RIP 28 Podcast. Anywhere that you want to be on streaming or whatever like that, we're there. So Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Palm Bay, everything.
whatever you want. Just type it in on Google and you'll find it.
So thanks for joining us again. Palmetto Crew Podcast, aka the PCP. Spurs up. Until next time, we are
Penn State.
Memphis.
Go Tigers, go. Hey, appreciate y'all having me on, fellas.
Signing off. Appreciate you.